pagdiningay ng mga police officials, former police officials, and even Senator Bato. In public, he announced all those allegedly involved in the drug trade in the whole country. And I have all the list of those police officials that was invited at Camp Crame, and in the list are 95 police officers. And out of the 25 police officers, Mr. Chairman, 19 police. Now, Mr. Chairman, well, in fact, ito po original nung binasa ng Presidente during the time, handwritten po. Naka-handwritten, hindi kompleto, mali po ang mga pangalan. For example, in the case of Lieutenant Colonel Hipana, nakalagay po dito, Colonel Hinipa. Tapos po, well, in fact, some of those names that was mentioned, mali-mali po yung rank. Some of those names that was mentioned, wala pong, hindi po kompleto yung mga pangalan. Well, in fact, one of these officer that was mentioned by the Duterte and was invited by the then PNP Chief Bato was coded and being ranked by the former PNP Chief, now Senator Bato, in the person of Police Lieutenant Colonel, former Police Lieutenant Colonel Bumbok. Andyan po siya. Now, Mr. Chairman, in this matter, Mr. Chairman, this will prove, Mr. Chairman, that kahit ano pang pagdiningay ng mga police officials, former police officials, and even Senator Bato with regards to the quota system, this will prove, Mr. Chairman, that there is such a quota system, because if not all, most of the cases that was filed for dismissal of those police officials ay quota po. The reason behind quota, pinataka na lang na involved sa drug trade. Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, in today's hearing, Mr. Chairman, wala po dito ang civil service because they have sent to us an excuse letter. And let me read the second to last part of the excuse letter, Mr. Chairman. While we recognize the importance of the CEC participation in the upcoming deliberation, we respectfully request to be excused from the meeting as it coincides with the conduct of the 2024 Directorate Conference and Fourth Quarter Executive Committee meeting of the CEC on 26 to 29 November 2024 in Baguio City. Now, Mr. Chairman, but of course, the CEC was present during the previous hearing and they have already submitted all the documents being required to them. Nandito po, voluminous, lahat ng mga cases that was filed for dismissal against and under appeal now in the CEC. Now, Mr. Chairman, before this representation, and maybe some of the members will ask questions to the resource persons, can we recognize? Isa na lang po sa inyong pwede mong salita muna para for the interest of time. Chairman, can we recognize former police superintendent, senior superintendent, tama, senior superintendent Hipana, Ronald Alan Hipana, who is previously assigned as the Regional Intelligence Unit of Region 6.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. May I be allowed to make an opening statement on behalf of our group, Mr. Chair?
Okay, please proceed.
First and foremost, we would like to praise and thank the Lord God Almighty for guiding us safely here to attend to this hearing. We thank Him for giving us the strength, the patience, the perseverance, the wisdom, and the resilience to overcome the challenges and adversities that we encountered for the last 8 years. Our unwavering faith in Him finally bore its fruit as He has opened the window and gave us this opportunity to tell our story. Likewise, we are also very grateful to this honorable committee for providing us this venue to finally air our side. It was on August 7, 2016, that our names were included in the announcement of then President Duterte as among those involved in the illegal drug trade. Amidst the chaos and confusion brought about by such announcement, we reported to Camp Crame the following day in adherence to the order of former PRRD that we appear within 24 hours. When we finally had our audience with then Chief PNP, General Bato de la Rosa, we were instantly berated and humiliated in front of national television without even bothering to hear a side first for the sake of fairness. In the bar of public opinion, we were already adjudged guilty. It is worth noting that the list that the former president used as a basis to tag our involvement in illegal drug activities was erroneous, and obviously it was never validated. Some had no first names. Names were misspelled. Ranks and designations indicated were incorrect. And in fact, one of the names mentioned, that of a certain Judge Mupas, was already dead. Further, the names of PRO6 personnel that were called has a common denominator. Almost all were formerly assigned with Iloilo City Police Office. Some were former city directors, intelligence officers, and station commanders, which was then under the operational control of Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog, who was also included in the list. Notwithstanding all this, we were all made to report to PNP IAS, where they interviewed us, but nothing came out of it and no charges were filed. We were then all assigned at PHAW DPRM, placed on floating status, and months after, were eventually charged by NAPOLCOM 6. Now, what actually transpired was that we first received a memo from NAPOLCOM 6 containing no specific charges, but instead, it was only asking us to comment why our names were included in the PRRD announcement. This is a classic case of fishing expedition. True enough, they used or issued comments as basis to file cases against us for incompetence, gross neglect of duty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. To add, almost all of us, or if not all of us, were already assigned at PHAW DPRM Camp Crame when NAPOLCOM 6 filed a case against us. Hence, there is an issue or question of jurisdiction, as we believe that it should be the NAPOLCOM Central Office who should have initiated the filing of the case against us. While waiting for the resolution of our cases, some of us were assigned to far-flung regions while others remained in floating status. Finally, in 2021, we all received the NAPOLCOM decision where it decided with finality a dismissal from the PNP service. However, we did not receive the resolution explaining and discussing in detail why our motions were denied. Apparently, NAPOLCOM NBank simply affirmed the decision of NAPOLCOM 6 dismissing us, and we're not even sure if they even read the arguments and valid points that we raised in a motion for reconsideration, and the absence of such resolution, in a way, confirms this presumption. As a legal recourse, we immediately elevated our case to the Civil Service Commission, where our appeal is pending until now. For the past 8 years, we struggled to overcome our predicament. We were financially, mentally, and emotionally challenged. Needless to say, our morale was also affected. We were publicly persecuted as our names were repeatedly mentioned in print and broadcast media. We had to bear the stigma of being labeled as drug protectors. And in fact, a video of us being shouted at by the former chief NP can still be accessed on social media, a grim reminder of the injustice that was done to us. The burden of explaining to everyone who cared to ask about our situation was tiring and stressful. This burden also took a toll on our respective families. There were instances of bullying experienced by our children, and the feeling of anxiety and concern over our safety always haunts our family. But what bothered us most is that when we were finally dismissed, the nominal complainant of NAPOLCOM 6 who penned the decision of our dismissal apologized to each one of us in different occasions. According to him, they really have no basis to dismiss us, but that their hands are tied as they are only following the instructions from higher-ups. Now, the question that begs to be answered is, who are these higher-ups? To say that this apology and revelation astounded us is an understatement. We are a government of laws and not of men. The rule of law is a system of laws, institution and norms that laws, not people, rule. Damage has been done. Our reputation and credibility were tainted. Our careers and families were affected. Opportunities such as our promotions were lost. We can't turn back lost time. It is gone forever. But we must continue to move on because we believe that the quest for justice knows no time limits and has no expiration. It will always be there for the taking. You just have to fight for it. We seek justice not only for ourselves and our families, but to our beloved Iloilo City as well, which was unfairly labeled as the most stabilized city in the Philippines. This is definitely not true, and the records will bear us out. This is also an appeal for justice for our companions who are placed in the watch list and killed pag-uwi sa weekends. We hope that those responsible for this injustice, including those people who knew that it was wrong but still covered it up by their silence and inaction, would be held accountable. On hindsight, we now realize that we were never actually charged or denied due process, as our inclusion in the watch list seems to be their only basis of our dismissal. A Jewish victim of the Holocaust once said, "What is done cannot be undone, but one can prevent it from happening again." And this is exactly what this honorable committee is doing now, preventing these things we experience from happening again through legislation. And again, we would like to reiterate our gratitude to this committee for giving us this chance to raise valid and relevant issues, and for being consistent in your efforts to ferret out the truth and make things right. Most importantly, we pay tribute to our families, whose unconditional love, trust, and all-out support gave us the strength to overcome and endure the sacrifices that came my way. They never doubted us. No ifs, no buts. They simply believed. They got our backs, and that meant the world to us. To end, Mr. Chair, I would like to say a line that is common among men in uniform, and it states, "Take and take until you take no more." With this hearing, Mr. Chair, hopefully, we will take no more. Thank you, and to God be the glory, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Colonel Ipana. Mr. Chairman, the Napolcom 6 is present today, but of course, we should understand that the present Napolcom Regional Director is not the Regional Director then that handles the cases of all these police officers. During that time, unfortunately, Attorney Marty Palomar, which is the Napolcom 6 Director, was already deceased. And now Attorney Jerome Asoga is now the new Region 6 Director of Napolcom. But still, while Attorney Palomar was deceased, Mr. Napoleon Arostique is present today, Mr. Chairman, and he is the investigator of the cases of all those officers in Region 6. Now, do you want to say something, sir? Do you have...
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Pursuant to memorandum issued by the Napolcom Central Office, we are mandated to conduct a pre-charge investigation relative to the pronouncement of the former president on the 19 PNP personnel allegedly involved in illegal drugs. During the time, I was the acting chief of the Technical Service Division, and I was tasked to oversee the pre-charge investigation. I was not the one to conduct investigation. I was the one to oversee. And the only thing that we wanted to determine is only probable cause, so that we'll be able to recommend for summary dismissal proceedings, Your Honor.
So, did you establish probable cause?
Based on the findings of the investigator, Your Honor, they have they found probable cause and recommend for the summary dismissal.
No, what is the probable cause? Because seeing, if not all, most of the cases or most of the bases for dismissal are mere comparative operations.
Yes,
Well, in fact, ito pa po, is General former RD Diaz present? RD, please, have a seat. RD, have you taken your oath, RD? Jen? Have you taken your oath?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is Police Superintendent Retired Floro present also? Please, can you please occupy the seat? Anyway, gusto ko lang balikan po. Kasi, Mr. Arostique, when the Civil Service Commission submitted to this committee and to this representation all the cases that you have recommended now for dismissal, almost the same, yung reason. But in fact, Hindi ko nga makita. Lahat doon, comparative lang. Comparative, what I mean comparative? Formerly, for example, a certain police official, specifically, Major Maymay, who is assigned in, I think, in Banate, tama po ba? Tama?
Police Chief Inspector Major Vicente po, sir.
O Major Vicente. Yung case niya, nakalagay pa doon yung figures na nung time na ito lang yung operation. Bakasyon ni President Duterte, ganito na karaming operation in that town. Napolcom, I will ask Napolcom, is that a basis? Kaya nga sabi ko dito kanina, in my preliminary statement, dito po, kahit na ano pang denial ng former police officials, ng former administration, yung quota system will reflect on all these cases. Yung kay Vicente, ang case niya, binata ko, nung time niya, magkano ba yun? Yung preso mo, 12?
21.
21.
Police Operation Against Illegal Drugs, sir.
Then, yung pumalit sa'yo,
A total of 21 police operations, sir.
hindi, yung pumalit sa'yo,
21, sir.
yung sa'yo,
12, sir.
12. Pero yung sinundan mo,
Prior to my assumption there are no...
0.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Please, Napolcom.
Mr. Chair, good evening po. Of course, I'm not competent to discuss the rationale of the then commissioners, no? But Mr. Chair, I believe that dahil nga po meron na tayong mga reversals from CSC stating that hindi naman talaga nakapag-adduce ng substantial evidence. So perhaps dahil po sa pronouncement, yun talaga yung